Today we're going to do a new project. We're going to change these old ugly vinyl shutters to something that's really pretty by using 5 1/4 by 6 inch by 12-foot deck boards, pre-treated or treated lumber. So the first thing I had to do was get these down. You'll see me taking this one down. And we saved the screws that was on there because we used them on our new ones. My husband took the first one down.
These shutters.
So we had 8 of these total. We bought these deck boards. We bought 12 12-footers.
First thing we got to do is remove the shutters.
To make the shutters. Now you'll see me measuring because I want them to be the same size as the ones that were up there. See how old and faded they are? So I'm measuring the length because I want to cut my 12-foot boards the same length, and they turned out to be 54 1/2 inches. And I used 3 boards. See, I'm going to show you. 54 1/2 inches. So I cut every board. I measured my boards 54 inches off of one end and then 54 inches off of the other end. So I actually got 2 planks out of each 12-foot board. I used my square to make sure my line was straight. Made sure I marked that side to cut on. Now we go over to my miter saw. I absolutely love my miter saw. It makes cutting boards so easy. So my husband helps me with these boards since they are 12-foot boards. We put them up there. You'll see me make sure that my board is centered where it needs to be and that line is where I can cut on the right side of that line. Now I cut my first cut. That's the first piece for the shutter. Now we're going to flip the board around and we're going to cut it on the other mark that we made. So that we ended up getting 2 pieces for each shutter out of each 12-foot board. And then the pieces that were left we used for the cross members. I was very particular about where I had my mark because I wanted to make sure my cuts were straight and that all my boards were cut as close to even as possible. So if we had to nudge boards back and forth, we nudged boards back and forth. Take your time. Don't get in a hurry with this. And then you use that miter saw and just cut all those boards. So we went through and we cut every board so that when we got ready to assemble them, we were ready to go. We didn't have to stop and cut boards again and then assemble and then stop and cut boards again. So here you'll see us cutting our next board. I mean, you could do this alone, but it's kind of hard to cut a 12-foot board unless you have something holding the other end. And again, you'll see me. No, I'm going to make sure it's right. Now I cut. Make sure you're careful when you use any kind of powered tools. You want to be very careful. So, I'm centering up my mark again. And this is a miter saw that I actually got at Harbor Freight several years ago. Okay. And so now we just continue to cut all the boards. You'll see my husband here. Now he's taking those middle boards that we had left over, and we figured out that we needed 17-inch cross member boards. So we cut all of those to make 17 inches, and we ended up having way more than we needed. We used 3 of those. Those are the 54 1/2 inch. Then we clamped them together because they're going to shrink. And then we took the cross members, what I call a cross member, the 17 inches. Now put them together. You see me getting the other one. And I'm putting them together with my Craftsman battery-powered brad nailer. Don't mind my knife there if that's what we sharpened our carpenter pencil with. Here I'm trying to decide if I want 3 or 2 cross members, because I have seen on Pinterest, I've seen wooden farmhouse shutters with 2 cross members, and then I've seen them with 3. So here's where I'm trying to decide if I want 2 or 3. We measured them the same from each end. Now you'll see me messing with this crazy clamp. I was having a time with this clamp. I had to go in and get a hat because my hair was getting in my eyes. And the gnats, oh my gosh, we fought the gnats all morning long. Because here in Northeast Arkansas, it's harvest time and they're harvesting corn and watermelons are rotting in the fields, so we have buffalo gnats really bad. Now you'll see me measure 4 inches from the end of each shutter. And I'm marking my mark so that when I put my cross member is level. Because I decided I wanted my cross pieces to be 4 inches from the bottom. You can see there behind me. Those are 2 that we made and put up. We couldn't video us putting them up because these are kind of heavy. So therefore we had to just not film that part. But will you just screw them into where your old shutters were? Now that I've got my marks made, I'm going to get my wood. There's my pieces, and I'm going to make sure, I'm going to flip my clamp out of the way. And I'm going to use my marks that I made to make sure my pieces are level. And then I'm using my fingers to kind of feel on each side to make sure they're equal on each side. I flipped it over because I want to make sure I have the flattest side of the board against the shutter pieces. So always flip your board, whichever side is flattest, that's the side you want to use. Now I have my Craftsman battery powered brad nailer. This was my newest purchase that I bought after watching another YouTuber use it on their product that they made. It saves a lot of time. You don't have to fight with an air compressor. You don't have to worry about cords. I absolutely love my Craftsman battery powered brad nailer. Now I'm going to put the other board on the other end. You'll see my husband there. He's finishing taking the other shutters out or down. And then we cleaned behind them because inevitably you're going to have spider webs and you could have wasp nest or whatever else. But anyway, I nailed both ends, and then you see me come through and do several nails to attach the cross members because I want to make sure they're secure. Now we pilot drill our holes for the screws that we're going to use when we screw them into the house, into the siding where our old shutters were. Because we didn't want to split the wood. And this is treated wood, so we know it's going to draw up a little bit, so that's why we clamped them together. This is what it looks like all assembled. And this is what they look like put up. So y'all tell me, should we stick with the 2 cross members, or should we put a third one on there? Y'all let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.